Hiya's and higher healing vibrations. Cosmic Cat here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being present. This is all about the inner child. The way this works is I will read from the author here on the day, June 21st, of what the message is. And then we'll pull some oracle and tarot cards to see if we can get some deeper insight on this, okay? Look at that. I turned right to it. There's something about being on point, okay? You're on point, and this was the right place for you to be. This came up the other day. I've had these books for a very long time, you guys. So A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose by Eckhart Tolle. It's a book to read, okay? June 21st is about judgments. Today I will let go of my need to judge. In my dysfunctional family, I needed to be right. It was my way of protecting myself from unfair and needless accusations. Being judgmental was a good offense. It kept my own feelings of inadequacy and self-loathing hidden from me. As a child, I couldn't have survived those feelings. Now I know that when I judge others, it's like throwing blankets over their heads. All I see is my own blanket. I never see who is standing in front of me. My judgment does nothing but makes them wrong so that I can be right. Today I will let go of the need to judge others. I no longer need others to be wrong just to build my own self-worth. Ooh, yes, baby, yes. Gotta ring a bell on that one. There's so many humans in the world that do this. I will loosen my rigid perceptions of people, knowing that they have the right to be who they are. Like me, they are doing the best they can. They do have the right to be who they are, and you have the right to be who you are without being pressured to be someone that you are not. Yeah. So letting go of your need to judge. Judgment really doesn't do service. You know, the right and wrong, the good or bad. In the past 2 days, maybe 3 days, all of my readings, I've mentioned the need to let go of this, to have discernment, to know when to have discernment, which is when to really check in on when it's a good time or need to use your judgment as far as how it affects your safety, you know, to be safe. Like she mentioned here before, when in her family, you know, she used it as a way to protect herself from unfair and needless accusations. So it was a way to protect herself. She says good offense, not defense. It wasn't like being defensive. It was just using it as an offense mechanism to offset so that her own inadequacy and self-loathing was hidden from her. And then here she realizes that the judgment is really just judgment that she's placing on others that's within her. Because oftentimes, so for one thing about the good and the bad, the right and wrong, it completely is a distraction from the root, okay? So there's this understanding. When we don't understand things, we judge them. As human beings, when you don't understand something, you judge them. When you feel inferior or you feel your self-esteem may be attacked, sometimes you judge. You know, it's like when others, this is something that has definitely happened within my life as well, with others' insecurities being projected or being around others who constantly judge others. You know, going to a restaurant with someone and all they do is look around at other people and judge what they're wearing, what they look like, what they ask for, what they say. I mean, and these, of course, they're doing the same thing to themselves. Of course, they're doing it to the people closest to them. And it makes it very difficult and hard. It does not raise a vibration. It keeps stagnant energy there. There's always the heaviness, the stagnation, the dense. And now I must say, life is best lived by focusing on your goals and dancing through all distractions. Dancing helps you move any stagnant energy and release any energy that's bent up or kept held up, captive, knotted up in your body. It helps release that. And focusing on your dreams and goals as opposed to dwelling on what others feel or think or their own projections of what, wanting others to be on your team or needing to feel the need to have a team. There's this thing of like you just being yourself. That's all you're really meant to do, is be yourself here. Learn through your mistakes, learn through failures, learn through conversations that are in, I don't want to say intense, but deep, loving, compassionate conversations. Those spaces where you feel welcome and warm, and the ability to really say the things that you want to say without feeling that fear of like, oh, I can't be myself. I can't say what I feel. What I feel isn't okay. What I feel is wrong. That constant judging that you give yourself behind closed doors because it's maybe a pattern that you dealt with your whole entire life. This may be something that you always have struggled with, and you learned how to communicate this way or how to make it through certain aspects or phases in your life by doing this. But judgments, it's now someone, a friend of mine once said, everybody judges. Now this is someone that judges everybody that said this to me. Okay. This is someone that their home, is pristine. Nothing is ever out of place. The whole perfectionism is clearly rooted deeply into their mindset and into their soul. And so for them, it's like, yeah, you will completely, if you are judging others all the time and you were raised and that's what you're living, then of course you're going to constantly judge and you're going to feel like everybody else is doing it too, especially if you aren't able to really hold space for others and realize that everyone is unique. What is your end goal? What is your end game? If your end goal or end game is just to insult someone or is just to judge others as to how they're living, this probably is a reflection of your own self, of the way that you live your life, and it's not necessarily something that is for someone else to fix, someone else to look at. If you're pointing a finger at someone else to do something or shaming them because they didn't do something you pushed on them, then there's something within you that is a reflection of mirroring this, okay? If you can't look back and see as to how you tried to push something onto someone, and instead of actually owning and taking accountability for it, you literally go and you go out and do you play these games. If that's how you want to live, you're going to get that back into your life. So if you want to release that cycle, go ahead and try to release some judgments. Discernment is always good to have, especially if you're making a decision about your own self. But looking at others and judging them for who they are is not ever going to bring you a sense of compassion or joy. It may bring you, the thing is that I've met many people in my life with extremely low self-esteem, and the way they lift their self-esteem up is by criticizing and judging others. And the thing is that deep down, these people that are criticizing others are doing this in a way to lift themselves up, but that's not authentic. That's not true authenticity. If you're doing that, that's something that you really want to address and look at in your life to make sure that you're not living that type of life, because it's really going to draw you a lot more anguish. It's going to draw in and keep that cycle going. And there's just no peace in it. I mean, maybe, I guess, if you're a sociopath or don't really care about others' feelings, but I wouldn't think that, you may have grew up in that type of environment, but you being here right now, I feel like you're a sensitive soul. We're also in Cancer season now. So with that being said, Cancer brings about emotions and mysteries. There's that stream of consciousness that can flow in and start to help you to feel what you're feeling, because there's deeper roots to all of this. Sometimes you're just on autopilot and you're automatically doing or saying things that you were taught that you don't even really like or enjoy. And if this is you, then this is something that you can change too. You can break the cycle, and this is a good year to do it. This is the year number 9. Okay, so the message is to let go of your need to judge. Let go of the need to judge yourself, to judge others. Allow yourself to flow better in a more compassionate way. When you have compassion in your heart, you're less likely to place judgment onto others. And I do feel like there's a lot of judgment that comes from those with insecurities. And sometimes this judgment can even come it can even come when you're just like jealous of others. You think that like putting them down, you feel lifts you up. And if that's probably what you're wanting to change in your life, because it's not really healthy at all. Let's see what we have to help you along with this judgment and judging others. The apple, yeah, be mindful of what you're eating, putting in your mouth. And maybe if next time you feel like you're going to judge someone, perhaps shove that apple in your mouth to prevent you from saying that thing that isn't really kind to someone else. If it's not nice, then why say it? If it's not uplifting, then why say it? There's a difference in having discernment and needing to stand up and speak your truth for yourself, for your own safety, for your best good, for you to be understood, for you to be heard, and for others to know what you will and will not allow in your life. There's a difference with that, as opposed to completely just judging others based on hearsay, something that's not even you're experiencing, based on just by observation, by watching someone, and like always having that need and that desire to want to say something negative about someone. It really shows the lack of security, the lack of self-esteem, the lack of the ability to look at oneself. So there's those things that are important to really think about. The apple offers, it's being mindful of what you're eating, what you're putting into the body, the vessel that carries your soul, what you're eating, what you're drinking, and making sure that you're doing things and consuming things that are good for the body, that are good for your vessel. Because believe it or not, what you eat and what you drink does make a difference and impact not only your spiritual awakening, but it also impacts your growth and your health, overall health. So we have the Knight of Coins. There's some contemplation going on here. Being really grounded into contemplating your next step. You're not stuck. You're not stranded. You're actually deciding, okay, I'm going to pause for a moment and think about what it is, what my next step is going to be. I'm going to pause and contemplate on how this plan maybe needs to go. Giving some time and space to a task, to a goal, to something that you want to, that you must, maybe it is your duty. As maybe the king told the knight, hey, go out and do this and make this happen. And therefore it's your duty and responsibility. But it's, knights have a tough job. They typically have adversity, and they have to approach these conversations sometimes in gentleness. This could also be talking about your health. We have the apple here, and then we go into the Knight of Coins. Who around you is a good mentor for eating healthier? Call them, ask them to show you how to make a good meal. and not necessarily a good meal, but a healthy meal, you know, something healthy for yourself. That's going to help you release that judgment. You know, maybe look up foods that help with judgment. You know, what kind of foods or drinks can I consume to help me release the judgment? Call upon the serpent. The wisdom of the serpent can help you shed that skin and let go of judging others that you're holding on to so tight and struggling with to let go. It's going to really help you embrace your authentic self by doing this, when you can make this happen. These are actually, can be, both of these cards can be you, they could be someone else. But knowing that we have this apple going to this knight, moving to the king, we have this flow here of going from our health, our wealth, money, career, to going about communication and the mind, the ego. What is it in our mind that we are carrying? Now, what are we carrying in our mind? Have we released maybe this is actually asking you to cut those cords with whoever it is that somebody here is placing judgment on others because you're around that a lot with someone. You're with someone that is constantly judging anyone and everyone that they're around, and it frustrates you. And so it's time to really, if you've already communicated to this person that you really you're uncomfortable about it, you'd rather not speak about it, this isn't the field that you're really interested in discussing, or hey, could you cut some slack on judging everyone? It's really toxic and can weigh people down and on your environment. It really does. But once you're able to let this go, and it will be a process once you start letting the judgment go, it's going to really open the door for your inner child and you to connect on a deeper level. Yeah, this is the message I have for you today. I hope it resonates. Please share in the comments below what part resonated for you. Have a cosmic day into night, meow.